Okay. Hello, hello, hello. It said an error had occurred. I was like, wait, what is that go doing? Is it actually working? Am I really live or not? So I'll just go ahead and give everyone a few minutes to join in and just try to make sure all the tech is working. So, how are you? This is the last the last day of August. I'm about to move the week ahead, okay? Because it's been that kind of a week. So it's the last week of August. Feel free to go ahead and leave a comment. Hopefully I can see you. I am actually streaming to Facebook, Instagram, I'm sorry, LinkedIn and YouTube. So we'll see if I'm able to keep up and see what's going on with everyone. So end of August, kids are back to school. If mine are at least back to college. My daughter is in her third week of classes, my son in his second week. So things are just moving right along. And I just feel like, yeah, time is flying by. So it's been good stuff, but busy stuff. So, how has everyone's summer been? Let me know. So today, though, we really are going to dive in. So, hey, Clarine, how are you? Shout out to the upper Wisconsin area. So hello, hello, hello. Really excited today to talk about Google Analytics 4 and why you should make the move. There are literally 304 days left until July 1st, 2023. And on that date is when Google is going to stop sending information to Google Analytics 3. Thank you. So it's really important. I feel like that we talk through what some of the differences are between Google Analytics 3 and Google Analytics 4. And I will probably use Google Analytics 3 and Universal Analytics interchangeably because that's just kind of the nature of them. But I think it's really important to talk about like what is going to take place over this next 304 days. What should business owners be concerned about? What should they be looking forward to? And how do they best utilize these technologies in their businesses and how best to do that? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And like I said, pray all tech does what it needs to do. All right, I think we're doing it. All right, okay. I might need to get rid of some things. Oh well, we're going to make it do what it does. Let's see, can I get rid of this? Hmm. Hide. Look at me today, solving my own tech problems. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and dive on into this. So, why you should make the move to Google Analytics 4? Okay, so let's talk about then versus now. Okay, and why basically Google decided to make Google Analytics 4. And there's a few different reasons. Okay, you look at this. This is how we used to do things, right? You had a computer at your house or you had one at your office. Our phones used to look like this, okay? We didn't buy things off of our phones. They literally were for calling people. And that was like the extent of it. We, didn't shop. We didn't check the weather. Our phones weren't smart, okay? So we didn't do a lot of the things that we do now. All right. So when Google Analytics 3 or Universal Analytics was created, it was because, like, hey, we're going to have this user and they're going to come to us via this desktop computer. Well, now we know we might start looking at something at home, or at work on a computer. Then we're on our phone, maybe in line for our kids or, somewhere else. And we're like, oh, yeah, let me go back to Amazon via the app and look at this. Then we're then on our tablet because we're still kind of not sure if we wanted to buy it yet. It's in our cart, but we're not sure. And then we're later on our tablets, and we're like chilling on the couch and we make the purchase. Okay. So, what Google Analytics 3 would do is Each of these, okay, whether you were on your desktop, then on your mobile, and then on a tablet, each of these would be counted as a visit. However, you and I know it was the same user. So you would have three visits when it was really one person just using three different devices. Okay, so it made for some marketing measurement to be a little kind of off. All right. And so the way we utilize technology has changed, which has precipitated the need to make these additional changes. Some other things, though, because when we start talking about our computers and phones and tablets and all the ways that we utilize the internet, if you've ever purchased a course or something online from a service provider, or maybe you've sold one yourself, you might visit buymything.com. That's the domain, okay? But once there's probably some sales pagey kind of language that's going to lead you to click on a button that's going to take you to a more full sales page or landing page, okay? So you're going to now be at, hey, you are about to buy mything.com. Okay. And there's some language on there. There's going to be a buy button. And that's going to take you to takemymoney.com. Okay. Which is the checkout page. So this is called crossing domains because you're no longer at buymything.com. You've gone over to, yay, you're about to buymything.com, and you wound up at takemymoney.com. However, all three of these all relate to and all are connected to the same exact site. It's the same exact user, the same exact everything that's going on. So I just want to make sure everything is still working. So just going to pause for a second. All right, good. I can see the slides. Everything's still moving. Okay, so you have this taking place, like I said, crossing domains because you've gone from buymything.com to, yeah, you're about to buymything.com to takemymoney.com. So this kind of tracking was able to be, kind of done in Universal Analytics. But unfortunately, many accounts were not set up to factor in cross domain tracking. Okay. And sometimes it broke, quite honestly. So it didn't work well all of the time. So that means that when you went from buy my thing to, yeah, you're about to buy my thing to take my money, again, it was going to count those as like a new session every single time. But the whole time it was just you going through the process. Okay. So that was another like inherent problem with Google Analytics 3, AKA Universal Analytics. And then we have the big mama of them all, which is data privacy. Like, honestly, whether it's GDPR, iOS 14 updates, companies have been forced to be more transparent about the data they collect and how they use it. And the flip side of that is that we as consumers have been empowered to decide, hey, what data do I want collected and how do I want you to use it as a company? Okay. And this applies to all of us. Whether you are a small business that you're like, Kiva, I'm a solopreneur with a website. Well, guess what? You need a privacy policy on that website. And it needs to tell people what data you're collecting and how you're going to use that data. Because whether you are on WordPress, Squarespace, Wix, I don't know, Shopify, whomever, okay, there is data that is being collected. And whether you are inherently aware of that, you hold responsibility for that. Okay. So you visited websites and there was cookies. They weren't chocolate chip though, right? So you would have these cookies and things of that sort that was used to track you in your kind of activities on the World Wide Web. Okay. Data privacy, though, has shifted that landscape. And as tasty as those cookies were, if you were eating the real ones, it necessitated changes that were needed in Google Analytics. Okay. And so now with Google Analytics 4, we're actually measuring users and user experience. We aren't measuring just visits. Okay. Visits, they're okay, but we already saw that they didn't tell the whole story because it would tell me 3 visits when it was really one person. So now we're really looking to look at the users and what that user experience is like. So this is like really a good thing. It is a good thing. It was created basically to solve the challenges that we just talked about. Is it 100%? No, it's not. Like, we've already talked about GDPR. We already talked about iOS 14 updates. Some people, you might say, I don't want you tracking anything that I do. Okay. And that's super great and wonderful. So even though you're not able to now keep a full 100% understanding of that journey, machine learning is built in, as is AI. So it helps fill in the blanks, okay, of some of the things that are taking place within the customer journey. Alrighty then. So what does this mean for you? Basically, the sooner you install and set up GA4, the sooner you will be able to take advantage of its improvements, the sooner you'll be able to start collecting data and utilize the features that it does make affordable to you. Okay. It is the most comprehensive um, analytics tool out there, and it's free. So it's really hard sometimes to argue with free. Sometimes free means that you're not getting a good thing. In this case, you actually are. And I know there's some who, there literally are for European Union, there are separate servers. They literally are making a good effort to address all of the issues that were taking place and were problems with Google Analytics 3. Okay. The good news is you can have both on your site at the same time. Run them simultaneously. That is actually preferred at this particular point. No one should be advocating for you to install Google Analytics 4 and remove Google Analytics 3. If they do, I would wave a huge red flag and ask you to ask them some questions, because at this particular point, Google is still changing. They're adding features to Google Analytics 4. They're making it even better, and they're addressing some things that people have raised as issues. And if someone tells you to remove Google Analytics 3, that is like all of your data just gone, because the two are separate entities. Like, you cannot just take what you have in Google Analytics 3 and move it over to Google Analytics 4. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so you can run them both on your site at the same time. And that is actually, again, the preferred method at this particular point in time. You still have 304 days until July 1st, 2023. Okay, when Google says they're going to stop reporting or sending data to your Google Analytics 3 account. So that allows you to have 304 days of data that's building up in your GA4 account that you can use to start helping yourself make better data driven decisions. Okay, so just let me tell you a story. Like, I'm in a Facebook group for a course on running Facebook ads. And recently there was like a 5-day challenge, so everyone was all pumped, like, they're running my ads, I'm running my ads, and this is happening. And people always have like lots of questions about user acquisition. Most of us always want to know, like, hey, did this ad bring this person to my site? Like, how did this person get here? Who are they? How did I acquire them? So when Google Analytics 4 is set up correctly, underline that, you can actually share like how you first acquired a user, not just based on their current visit. Okay, so GA4 though can't give you that information if it's not set up. Okay, so like Universal Analytics, like Facebook Pixels, it's not retroactive. So if you install it today, it doesn't start collecting data until today. Okay, so if you installed it yesterday, you actually have a day's worth of data. If you installed it 3 months ago, you have 3 months of data. If you installed it 6, you have 6 months of data. If you wait until March of next year, you will not have data until March of next year. Okay, and I share that because in this particular group, let's just say that if you installed it today, if they would have installed it when they were doing the challenge, for example, Google Analytics 4 would say, hey, this person came from your Facebook ad. However, many of the participants had run ads before. Like, it's a course on running ads. Like, part of the job is to do ads. So some of them might see like a visitor today from a webinar that they ran ads to a month ago. Google Analytics 4, though, won't know that because it wasn't installed a month ago. So it's going to attribute that, kind of visitor or that user to the Facebook ad when in all actuality, they were a webinar person that you targeted a month ago. Okay, so the sooner you feed this machine, basically, because we're talking about machine learning in so many instances, the sooner it's going to be able to start to understand, hey, oh, this is what you do, and this is how this works. Okay, great. Starting to track all of these things. So the moral of the story again is sooner is better than later. All right. So now I want to talk about 5 things that you can do in Google Analytics 4 that you could not do in Google Analytics 3. So the first one is on audience conversions. So in Google Analytics 3, you could have conversions, but they were based on like a page or an event. In Google Analytics 4, you can actually have what are called audience-based conversions, okay? So for example, maybe you have a blog and you have a blog audience, people who love your blog. And you can actually create an audience that says like users who viewed my blog and within 10 minutes looked at my contact page. That could be an audience. And you can literally track just how many people do that. Trust me, you can get crazier with this. Users who viewed my blog post and watched over 5 minutes of the video within the post. That can be an audience. Maybe you're e-commerce. I have a girlfriend, she sells amazing soaps. Like she could literally create an audience of users who purchase more than $45 in their current session. Okay. Maybe you're someone who sells women's accessories. Like you could have like an audience of people who purchase shoes and a handbag, but only those who came from your monthly newsletter. Okay? It can be quite powerful depending on how granular you want to get with the kind of things that you want access to. Okay? Another thing is elapsed time. Google Analytics 3 could only measure time like per page, like how long was a session? How about the user? And it didn't always work the way that you thought it was supposed to. All right. GA4 actually allows you to measure time between what are called like interactions. So you can pretty much build any funnel you want and exactly see the time it's going to take for someone to how long it takes people to go through your funnel. And some of you spend quite a bit of time on your funnel. And so by doing that now, you actually will have better insights into, okay, this is what happens when they're at this particular part of my funnel. And then this is what happens when they actually land on the payment page of my funnel. And this is what happens when they actually are on the upsell page of my funnel. Okay, it really helps you see how people are going through your funnel. A third thing is pathing, okay? It's been pretty much totally rebuilt in GA4, which is a glorious thing, if really it is. So now you can actually do backwards and forwards pathing. All right. So you can literally start with a conversion. Someone booked a discovery call on your website. Someone purchased $45 worth of stuff on your site. You can go back to see what were all of the events that preceded that. Okay. So they booked a call. What did they do on your website right before they booked that call? And what did they do before that? Like, did they first come and devour all of your content, watch all of your blogs, and read your blogs and watch your videos, and then they decided to go to your contact page and book a call? Or did they just pretty much land there from Mars and straight to booking a call? Probably unlikely. All right. But now you get to figure out, hey, what did they do before they did this last thing that I was interested in? And that helps you decide, oh, several people have done this same exact thing. This is clearly a part of the customer journey that you might not have thought about, but this is how your customers are actually going through your process. It helps you determine where there might be some tweaks to that process, or maybe the process is working the way you thought it would. All right. The other one is flexible conversions. Okay. Like, honestly, I cannot be the only person who has ever run out of goals in Universal Analytics. You literally had a cap of 20, and it caused people to get really creative with their URLs. But GA4 provides you with 30 conversions, but the kicker is you can actually archive some so you free up slots. So talk about excitement. And Alexa's going to remind me that I have lunch in 10 minutes on my calendar. She does it twice so that I actually pay attention.
On your calendar, lunch starts in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I actually don't always eat. That's a whole nother conversation. So love to have this because again, it gives you support for like seasonal or campaign based conversions. Okay, so this is like really worth a happy dance if I'm completely honest with you. Now, this last one is really for data nerds out there. I'll be honest with you. This one is not going to blow up everyone's skirt, but for some people, it is going to really be the icing on the cake. Google Analytics 4 comes now with free BigQuery integration. Okay. There was no good way to get data out of GA3. You got some reports. That's pretty much what you got. If you had GA360, which was like another level of service, you had access to raw data. Now they're giving that access to everyone. Like, imagine connecting your CRM with your Google Analytics 4. You can start to build out some really advanced analytics, some high powered databases to really do some things in your business that you might not have ever thought about doing. The more that we talk about this, I think the more that we all can understand. And I think it's been since about 2012 or so, people have talked about data is a form of currency now. Okay. It just is. And I think it's important that we think through how we're going to harness it. How do we use that in our businesses to do things better? How do we use it to increase the impact of what we do in our businesses? Okay. So yeah, again, this one's for the data nerds. Like not everyone's going to geek out and be like, "Yay, we got free BigQuery integration." No, it probably won't be for everybody, but I think it's pretty cool. All right, so here's a tweet from Dr. Analytics Ninja PhD. All right, he says, personally, I'm not looking forward to all of the work inquiries that are going to flood in during 2023. Because remember, we have 304 days. All right, 150 million websites use Google Analytics. There are not enough resources available in the analytics industry to service the inevitable deluge of everyone saying, oh, poo, next March. Okay? And seriously, there are a lot of people who are pretty much head in the sand about this. I don't want you to be one of those people. I don't want you saying, oh, goodness gracious, come next March. I want you sitting back next March saying, yep, I installed it actually in September of 2021, 2022, and I'm good. That's where I want you to be, not in the position of, oh my goodness gracious, I am being like totally forced to do this. I don't even know what it is. And I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So based on all of that, you can go here, you can book a call with me today. If you also go to my website, the 516collaborative.com, you can also go ahead and download. I literally have for you a free guide of how you can start that installation process for yourself for Google Analytics 4. I don't take you into some of the more nuanced features that are implemented via Google Tag Manager. But hey, you can get Google Analytics 4 installed on your site without a tech team by going through that freebie, and that's at the 516collaborative.com. But if you want to book a call, you can go to go.the516collaborative.com/GA4. So I am going to stop my screen share. Yeah, going to stop my screen share. There we go. And let me see here. So does anyone have any questions, any things that you are wondering about? And again, I may not see all of the comments. If not, I will go back in later and make sure to answer those things. But I really do want everyone to take advantage of this information. Like, quite honestly, this is something that is coming, whether you want it to come or not. This is where we are in our kind of analytic journey of life and as business owners. And I think it's important, though, that we do factor in what does this look like for our businesses? How do we make sure that the things that we are doing, we are getting and receiving the ROI on them that we're hoping for? So I will look for questions. If I see any, I will make sure to respond. I thank you for actually joining me today. And if you have anything else, I don't have any questions. Okay, thank you so much, Clarine. But yeah, so definitely let me know if there are any other questions. Feel free to reach out to me. I will definitely get back to you and have an amazing last day of August. I cannot believe that it's hump day. So happy September is coming tomorrow. I already have leaves falling at my yard, but I also have like a whole row of trees that are still green. I don't know what season I live in. It depends on if I'm in the front of the house or the side of the house. So I wish everyone an amazing day and I'll talk to you later. Bye.